Now it's time to see who has the heart.
If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here, I'm the man. Woo!
Welcome to the Best of Tailgate Talk, where we go back into the archives and hear some of our special guests you may have missed the first time around. We'll be back with the Best of Tailgate Talk after this. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to Go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. Real estate, real easy. That's the motto at Innovative Realty Solutions, and providing the highest quality real estate services is their mission. With sound real estate advice, the latest information, and a skilled analysis of the real estate market, Innovative Realty Solutions offers a better home buying and selling experience with a fair, ethical, and, yes, innovative process. Innovative Realty Solutions. Visit them on Facebook, online at innovativerealtysolutions.com, at 100 North Clinton Street in Athens, or call 230-5950. Innovative Realty Solutions. Real estate, real easy. When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand, first to help with community events and fundraisers, first to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations, first to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events, and most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together, that's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Want to howl with the Havoc this season? Now's your chance from Tailgate Talk and the Huntsville Havoc. Just go to tailgatetalk.net and register your name. Then listen to Tailgate Talk Saturday mornings at 10 as we announce the weekly winners of Huntsville Havoc tickets. Howl with the Havoc this season from the Huntsville Havoc, Tailgate Talk, and 1080 WKAC. Welcome to the Best of Tailgate Talk. We were originally scheduled to be at the VBC with the Huntsville Havoc today, but with the weather forecast we were getting leading up to today, we decided to just play it safe. We've rescheduled our visit with the Havoc for April 2nd. Next week, we'll be back out at Eli's Block Party Car Show, and in the coming weeks, we'll be at Lucy's Barge for Cornhole for a Cure, Cars and Bikes on the Square, and hopefully out at Toyota Stadium with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. The Limestone County Sports Hall of Fame ceremonies is returning after a couple of years off, and we'll dedicate a show to the honorees as well as doing a special show from the banquet. This week, our guests include Bob Kendrick of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. We talked with him following the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame voting results. After that, we stay in baseball with another conversation with former Cincinnati and Atlanta shortstop Darrel Chaney after the Braves World Series win. We switch gears to basketball as we talk with former Alabama guard and current Florida Southern women's head coach Betsy Harris, and then hear from author Gary Pomerantz about his book, The Last Pass, Cousy, Russell, the Celtics, and What Matters in the End. We'll wrap things up with a fun visit we had with the new women's lacrosse coach at UAH, Akasha Kasper. Before we get to that, though, let's announce our Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to Ardmore's Preston Patterson, who picks up a gift card from the Athens Applebee's and a Tailgate Talk t-shirt. Go to tailgatetalk.net and enter your nominations, and you can also vote on the current week's poll while you're there. We've also got some Howl with the Havoc winners to recognize: Philip Gibson, Shannon Toon, Brody Wilhelm, Sarah Ramsey, Christopher Patrick, and Leanna Baldwin all pick up tickets to see the Huntsville Havoc in action this season. Now remember, you can check out all the latest Limestone County area results by going to our website, tailgatetalk.net. Stay with us. The Best of Tailgate Talk will be back after this. P4 Physical Therapy is a new outpatient provider offering community-based care with a unique partnership model that allows them to consistently deliver world-class outpatient care, emphasizing personalized hands-on treatment. Whether it's orthopedic, physical, geriatric, or manual therapy, sports or neuro rehab, telehealth, or most any type of muscle or joint pain, P4 Physical Therapy promises to treat you with integrity, compassion, faithfulness, and selflessness. Locations in Athens, Huntsville, and Winfield, Alabama, as well as Fayetteville and Knoxville, Tennessee. Look for them on Facebook or online at p4physicaltherapy.com. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon.
Hey guys, this is Joanna for CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications. Many of you are searching for Bible study materials for your Bible classes. Our best-selling Bible curriculum, Discovering God's Way, is a reliable tool for teaching students of all ages through the Bible in its entirety. We're sure you'll love this curriculum, and if you'd like to see other options of Bible classes, we'll be happy to help you select from our topical studies. So stop struggling with the search and come by and let us help you select reliable and meaningful study materials for your class today. CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications, taking his hand, helping each other home.
This is Bella LaFontaine with Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We take care of all the basics. We take care of cockroaches, ants, wasps. As far as rodents go, most places they'll trap or poison, and that's the end of it. What we do is we're actually going to find the entry points, and we're going to take care of that for you. We do a lot of work with a lot of realtors here in town to bring houses to the closing table. So one of the big things about us is that we're not a sales company. We are a service provider. So we're not looking to meet a sales quota. We're looking to get a house ready to go to closing and get our customers taken care of. This is Bella LaFontaine, Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We are located at 3413 6th Avenue in Huntsville, Alabama. Phone number is 256-701-7095.
Are your broadband needs growing like wildflowers? Ardmore Telephone Company's Fiber Fast Internet can help. Spruce up your speed with ATC today. Give us a call at 800-830-9946 to upgrade this spring. New internet customers get the first month free. Broadband speeds are based on best availability in your area. Fiber internet is not available in all areas.
Be listening for Limestone County area high school baseball action this season from Play Action Sports. Your coverage of ABS, Ardmore, Athens, Clements, East Limestone, Elkmont, James Clemens, Lindsay Lane, Tanner, and West Limestone online at pasnetwork.net on your Amazon Echo device or on your Play Action Sports app. Afterwards, you can download each game from the archives or stream it on demand. While you're there, check out our schedule of upcoming games. Limestone County area high school baseball from Play Action Sports. Welcome back to the Best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
We've got this man, one of our favorites of all times, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Mr. Bob Kendrick. Bob, welcome back.
Hey, man, it is great to be back. Thank you guys so much for having me.
No, man, I'd come in off vacation to get to talk to you, dude. I've got to get up there. It's Kansas City, right? I got to get there. I want to walk through that place and see it.
Yeah, no, it's special. It is special, and we love to have you guys come up and see us, man. Maybe do your show live from Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. It'd be pretty.
Tim, we need a sponsor.
That would be neat. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
We do go on the road from time to time.
How long a drive is it to Kansas City from here?
Oh, I don't know.
But I'm wasting
8
time.
hours, maybe?
I'm wasting time when we could be talking to Bob. So don't be asking. Don't let me ask you any questions. Bob, what's new, man? Talk to us.
A little bit of everything. I'm still smiling, as you can well imagine, with my man Buck O'Neil finally getting into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, the vote took place on Sunday, December the 5th. And 15 years later, after he missed by one vote,
wow,
he finally gets in.
Long overdue.
And it's long overdue. And of course, it's mixed emotions because he passed away shortly. Well, he passed away in 2006, the same year the election took place, and he passed away in October of 2006. So, it's a little bit of mixed emotion because we missed that opportunity to celebrate with him. But it doesn't diminish the accomplishment and the impact that it could potentially have on Buck's museum, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And so I've been smiling ever since, man. And it was some anxious moments leading up to that vote. But when Josh Rawitz, who is the president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, started to read the bio, we knew right away that he was about to introduce Buck O'Neil as one of the latest entrants into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And I felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders. I exhaled, and then I was overcome with emotions.
I could imagine.
Because, you can think about what happened 15 years ago when I had to deliver the news to Buck that he didn't get enough votes to get in.
Wow.
And it was as painful of something that I've ever had to do. And who handled it better than anybody?
Buck. Yep. Yes, sir. Every time I hear the name Buck O'Neil, and when it's on press or ESPN, it's always preceded by two words: the Great. Buck O'Neil. Yes, sir.
The Great. He was special. He was special, and I was so blessed, fellas, to have had the opportunity to travel all over this country, hanging out with Buck, playing golf, car rides, breakfast, lunch, dinner, meetings with potential sponsors, and the whole 9 yards. And there I was hanging out with him, and I was very fortunate and blessed to do so. And I remind people all the time, the smartest thing that I ever did was I kept my mouth closed and I listened.
I see.
I listened. And all the wisdom that he would and could impart, I tried to soak it up. I tried to soak it up, and now I kind of draw from that virtually every single day. I tell people all the time, I talk to Buck O'Neil almost every day. There's not a day, as you can well imagine, that goes by that I don't think about Buck. But I talk to Buck almost every single day. Now, he doesn't always talk back to me. But
that's great.
Well, I was thinking that this was the first year that players from the Negro Leagues were eligible.
No.
For some reason.
No,
Okay.
Right now, with the addition of 3 more Negro Leaguers, because not only did Buck get in, but Bud Fowler, who was the first black professional baseball player. Bud Fowler was also one that also got enough votes to get in off the early era ballot. And of course, on the Golden Days ballot, the legendary Minnie Minoso.
Okay.
Who began his career with the New York Cubans in the Negro Leagues.
Wow.
And I was thrilled, too, that Minnie Minoso got in, because Minnie was also on the ballot in 2006 when Buck missed getting in. Minnie also missed. And you know what, fellas? The thing that really made it so disappointing to me was that both of those men were still alive at that time.
Yes.
We missed a tremendous opportunity to have their living presences there in Cooperstown.
Yes.
Which would have truly made it historic.
Yeah.
And both of those men have now passed on, but I'm thrilled that they both will go into the Hall of Fame together. I spent many occasions here in Kansas City and in other places around the country hanging out with Minnie Minoso. And Minnie Minoso had that same gregarious personality that Buck O'Neil had as well. When either one of those men walked into the room lit up. You knew they were in there. And it was just positive energy that exuded from both of them. And they were just delightful people to be around. And, you know, to hear Minnie tell his story of coming from Cuba, bypassing other more lucrative opportunities to play professional baseball in other countries, to come to the United States so that he could pursue the American dream. And then go on and leave the Negro Leagues and go into Major League Baseball, initially with Cleveland. Didn't get a fair shake in Cleveland. And then Cleveland traded him to the Chicago White Sox, where Minnie Minoso became the heart and soul of the Chicago White Sox. As I tell people, he put the go in the Go-Go White Sox.
That's great.
And I get, you know what?
Now, we're talking about a dynamic leadoff hitter, speed, power, great throwing arm. He brought that charisma and energy and excitement. And for the Afro-Latino ball player, Minnie Minoso was the Jackie Robinson for Latino baseball players.
Okay.
And not just his native Cuba, but for Latino baseball players around the globe. He did the exact same thing that Jackie Robinson did for African-American players to dream about playing in the major leagues.
That is great.
You know, I got to thinking. I must have been thinking about the deal with the inclusion of their stats.
The stats, absolutely.
That's what I was thinking about. So
yes. And it's so interesting that we're doing this interview almost exactly a year from when Major League Baseball made that historic announcement that it was recognizing the Negro Leagues for what we already knew it to be, a major league, and that it was going to roll in the statistics of the Negro Leagues into the annals of Major League Baseball history. That was December 16th of 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. So almost a year to the date, we're having this conversation. And it's been an amazing ride for the Negro Leagues and the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum really ever since. The interest has just continued to grow in this amazing story. And we're so excited about it. And now we look forward to 2022 with some major milestone things that we're going to celebrate next year that we think can be, number one, tremendously valuable for those who are fans of our sport, but also those who are fans of history, but also have an opportunity to really elevate the recognition and the financial stability of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. So I am really excited about the prospect of 2022.
Now, Bob, was this like they call the veterans vote, or did they change it to the golden era vote or something?
They changed it, but you're right on in terms of that would have been what it used to have been called. And so they created two special committees, one the early era committee and then the Golden Days Committee.
Okay.
Now, this early era committee will still continue to meet every 10 years, from what I understand, and the Golden Days Committee will meet every 3 years for the possibility of other players who may have been overlooked to get into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And it would have been exact to the old Veterans Committee. And honestly, guys, when the election in 2006, there were 17 Negro Leaguers who went into the Hall of Fame. And as I mentioned, Buck O'Neil and Minnie Minoso, unfortunately, were left out. And that was supposed to be the end of the opportunity for Negro League players to be considered for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that was it. They were going to close the door on the Negro Leagues. That committee had been tasked with putting in all the players they believed deserved to be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And so I had resigned in the fact that this was never going to happen for Buck. Well, if you recall, the Hall of Fame subsequently came back and created the Buck O'Neil Lifetime Achievement Award and erected a life-size statue of Buck in the Hall of Fame. Buck O'Neil is the only baseball player to have a life-size statue in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. And you know what? I was like, okay, well, I'm good with that. They didn't do something that was token. This is very significant. And I had resigned in the fact that this was going to be it for Buck. There was never going to be another opportunity. And I had moved on. And then we caught wind of this possibility of this committee being established and Buck's name possibly being on the ballot. So now the door kind of was cracked. And as it turned out, Buck name gets on this 10-person ballot. There were 7 Negro Leaguers and 3 former major leaguers on the early era ballot. And this time, the verdict went our way. And it was just, as you can imagine, pure elation and jubilation. I was initially not going to have people gather at the museum. I was going to do this in solitude. And fortunately, my better mind came to the forefront. And I said, I said, Bob, let's invite people down. Because in 2006, we had some 300-plus people who had gathered there for what we all thought was going to be a Hall of Fame celebration announcement.
Yeah.
And it was devastating when the verdict didn't go our way. And I wasn't sure I wanted to relive that. And so I wasn't going to do it. And then at the 13th hour, I decided against that. And I said, let's invite people. And we had another 300-plus people who had gathered there at the museum on December 5th. And you know what? I think, too, what finally kind of registered for me was, you don't want to go through this in solitude. So you either going to have a lot of people to hug or a lot of shoulders to cry on.
I agree. There you go. I love the way you think, Bob. I love that.
We'll be back with more of our Tailgate Talk conversation after this.
Limestone Drug, located on the square in downtown Athens, is your local Health Mart pharmacy. As your local Health Mart pharmacy, Limestone Drug is locally owned and has a personal commitment to the community. Limestone Drug honors prescription drug plans, including Medicare. They accept flex spending cards and fill prescriptions in minutes, not hours. Limestone Drug knows there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. So shop Limestone Drug at 200 West Market Street in Athens, your local Health Mart pharmacy. Limestone Drug, caring for you and about you.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State Hometown Team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
If you're running out of space and a yard sale just isn't an option, Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage gives you the choice. Midpoint Storage on Highway 72 East has traditional or climate-controlled units along with spaces for your boat or RV. Buddy Box offers convenient, secured, portable storage units delivered right to your home. They're both locally owned, too. Call 256-800-4249. Look for them on Facebook or online at midpoint.storage.com or buddyboxstorage.com. It's a win-win situation. Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage. 256-800-4249.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late-inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Applebee's Tailgate Talk wants to recognize our local athletes, and you can help. Go to tailgatetalk.net throughout the school year to vote for the Applebee's Neighborhood Athlete of the Week. The winner will receive a gift card from Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and a t-shirt from Gotcha Covered Screen Printing and more. Submit your own nominations for future polls, too. While you're there, check out the Tailgate Talk archives and see what you might have missed. That's the Applebee's Neighborhood Athlete of the Week. Cast your vote today from Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Tailgate Talk. We continue with our conversation on the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Now, Bob, is this vote every year, or is it just did you say it was every 10 years?
For the early era, it looks like it's going to be every 10 years.
Okay.
For the golden days, looks like every 3 years that committee will meet.
Okay.
So it may be now 10 years before another Negro Leagues player will get the opportunity, because I can tell you, while I'm elated about Buck O'Neil and Bud Fowler, I was just as disappointed by a player by the name of John Wesley Donaldson. John Wesley Donaldson, guys, was one of the greatest pitchers this game has ever seen. I honestly thought that he would get in because there's so much quantifiable data on Donaldson. And let me tell you, the numbers are staggering. Over 400 verifiable wins.
Wow.
Over 5,000 strikeouts that are documented. Now, he's early era black baseball, and then, of course, moved into the Negro Leagues when the leagues were formed in 1920. A dominating left-handed pitcher who the great Satchel Paige idolized. Now, if Satchel Paige idolized you, you got to be a bad man.
Yes.
You got to be a bad man. And Donaldson was a bad man. I do a podcast called Black Diamonds.
Yeah.
And we do this with Sirius XM Radio. And so we did the story of John Donaldson, and I had my dear friends CeCe Sabathia,
yes,
David Price, and the great Dave Stewart on that show. And I'm telling them some of these feats about John Donaldson, and their minds are blown. You know?
And this era of outstanding baseball it preceded video cameras. I mean, even in the 50s and,
Oh, absolutely.
I'd love just to come back and watch some of those games.
Yeah, and you know what's so interesting is they discovered a 39-second home video of John Donaldson.
Oh, wow.
And this video goes back to the early 1900s.
Wow.
And someone had this old video camera, and it had been this video had been somewhere under somebody's bed for 60 years.
Wow.
And it was discovered. They were able to clean it up, and it's the only known video of John Donaldson. And the Donaldson Network, who has done, 3 decades plus of research on John Donaldson, showed this to some scouts and other people to watch his delivery. And they all said he would have been dominating in any league. Wouldn't matter what league. And of course, back then, you could only play who you could play.
Yeah,
exactly. I remind people all the time, it wasn't their fault that they couldn't compete in the major leagues. They just weren't allowed. So you had to play who you could play. And so they played any and everybody they could play. And he dominated. And so I was disappointed that he didn't get in. But this video is amazing. To watch this great left-hander do his thing. And like I said, J.O. Wilkinson, who owned a team called the All Nations before they became the Kansas City Monarchs, he basically had John Donaldson as a hired hand. He would farm Donaldson out to other teams because he was that dominant, and they were paying top dollar to have Donaldson come and pitch for their teams. So J.O. Wilkinson was making a lot of money from John Donaldson. And I think that's why Satchel really idolized John Donaldson, because Satchel understood that this could be something that he could emulate. And he did. Wow. Satchel became a barnstorming legend. And of course, Satchel Paige's roots right there in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know what y'all put in the water there, but man, I want some of it.
And Bob, just reading here on Wikipedia about John, it says here he established himself as a stellar pitcher, posting a reported record of 44-3. His known highlights of that season included an 18-inning, 31 strikeout game.
Good grief.
A 27 strikeout performance at least 4 separate occasions, and he whiffed 19 batters.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. No, there were multiple 30 strikeout games. And so when I'm telling CC and David Price and Stu this, their mouths dropped open.
Get this man in the Hall of Fame.
This man in the Hall of Fame is right.
Let's get a petition up, Bob.
You're talking about they could only play who they could play. Well, if they had been able to go into the major leagues, they probably wouldn't have been facing, players as good as they'd faced.
Yeah.
And as it was.
So. Absolutely. So there was no inferior players there, in particularly when we talking about the Negro Leagues. The talent was so steep. And that's what we try to help understand. And I understand that we've been kind of, I don't know, it's been embedded in us that Major League Baseball was superior because it was the Major League.
Yeah.
But no one knew about the Negro Leagues. And people are just learning about that great talent. But when I tell them, and it saddens me, because I don't think we've had an opportunity to talk much about the fact that, the late, great Henry Aaron passed away in January of this year. Right. Another guy from Mobile, Alabama.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Mays from Birmingham, Alabama. Before Mr. Aaron passed away, it gave me great pride to say that the two greatest living major leaguers were both former Negro League stars.
Yes.
Henry Aaron began his career with the Indianapolis Clowns. Willie Mays began his career with the Birmingham Black Barons. They're just a sampling of the tremendous talent that was there in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah.
And so it's not far-fetched to believe that there could have been players who were better than Henry Aaron and Willie Mays that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
Now, that is scary to think.
Wow.
I still haven't forgotten the first time you were ever on here, and I was asking you about which player was the best that got very little recognition, and you immediately popped out Cool Papa Bell. So
Cool Papa Bell.
I got to ask him. I got to bring him up every time you're on the show, man. I'm very impressed.
The speed.
Yes, sir.
The speed was legendary. The speed was legendary, but it was real. Yeah. It was absolutely real.
How tall was he?
He was about 5'10", 5'11", very slightly built. He was a switch hitter, but primarily from the left-hand side. And Cool Papa Bell comes to the Negro Leagues with the St. Louis Stars. He comes to the Negro Leagues as a pitcher. And as fate would have it, he hurt his arm.
Oh, wow.
And when he hurt his arm, they moved him to the outfield. And that's when the legend of Cool Papa Bell starts to take off. Because he's running down everything in the outfield. Literally running it down. He didn't have a strong throwing arm because he had hurt his arm.
Right.
But he had a very quick release. And he could play so shallow because he could just get on his horse and go get it. And as a hitter, Cool Papa Bell never hit under 300. And so he could slap that thing around. He would turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples, a lot of inside the park home runs. He twice, and this is the honest to God's truth, he twice scored from first base on a bunt in exhibition games against Major League All-Stars.
I love it. Now, do they sell like old jerseys that remanufactured jerseys with teams like that, St. Louis Stars and Kansas City Monarchs?
Evansville Flannel is the best in the business. They sell what I call the authentic replica jerseys. We carry some of their jerseys, and these things are handmade. They are beautiful pieces. Now, we do have some other replica jerseys, but the ones that Evansville Flannel out of Seattle, Washington, these things, guys, are absolutely gorgeous. They're meticulously made to look identical to the way that the jerseys that those players in the Negro Leagues wore. They are absolutely the best in the business at making those, what I call authentic replicas. But yet teams like the St. Louis Stars and the Kansas City Monarchs, the great Homestead Grays and Pittsburgh Crawfords, Birmingham Black Barons, the Memphis Red Sox, the Baltimore Eli Giants. One of my favorite teams is the Eli Giants. Now, it's spelled elite.
Oh, okay.
But it's pronounced elite. Yeah, you make those Negro Leaguers mad if you call them the elite Giants. They were the Elite Giants.
Now, Bob, you've had a connection with this bunch that's trying to get a team started in Nashville. Do you know what the progress is?
It got a little bit delayed because of COVID, and so we're still working very diligently to do this. I think Nashville is primed and ready for Major League Baseball.
Yes, sir.
And how special would it be for this team to be the first ever Major League team named for a Negro Leagues team, the team would be called the Nashville Stars.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a great group of people that are working on this, a great group of investors. But we're talking about people like Justin Timberlake and others who are part of this group that's trying to bring professional baseball, Major League Baseball, to Nashville. Hopefully now, once we can get this work stoppage resolved and we get a new agreement in place, which I'm convinced will happen, I think everybody's cooler heads and smarter heads will come to the forefront here. Our game is now starting to trend in the right direction.
Yeah.
We can't afford a long work stoppage.
Mm-mm.
And I think all the players to be understand that. So I'm very confident that we'll get this labor issue resolved, and hopefully sometime in 2022, 2023, that we will look at this opportunity for expansion. Major League Baseball has made it no secret that they want to expand line geographically to make it more geographically palatable. And Nashville, we think, is a perfect place for baseball to look at expansion.
And Bob, look how they're doing with hockey and NFL. I mean, they're showing out,
Absolutely.
selling out,
Absolutely.
and MLB would do great in Nashville.
Yeah, no, we're excited about the possibility. We're looking forward to get to present our case sometime, we hope, in the very near future. There are already great stadium plans that are already in place, sites and these kinds of things. And so we feel we're very optimistic about this opportunity. And man, I can tell you now, it would be so special for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. This would be a game changer for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And it falls right in line with everything that Major League Baseball has said is important to the game.
Yeah.
Diversity, inclusion, equity, it's all wrapped up inside this opportunity to name this team and have it there in Nashville and have the Negro Leagues move right to the forefront as a part of Major League Baseball history. It's really interesting that in 1920, when Rube Foster created the Negro Leagues here in Kansas City, he thought he would create a league that was so dynamic that he would actually force Major League Baseball's hand to expand. And under Rube Foster's vision, you would have maybe absorbed 4 of those 8 teams into the major leagues. And then all of that other great talent would have been moved to those 4 teams. And you would have had complete integration in our game way back in 1920.
Yeah.
That's how forward-thinking Rube Foster was. He was almost right. Instead, Major League Baseball focused on the field. But this would be an incredible opportunity.
It would. Well, Bob, once again, we've still want to talk more, but we've come to the end of our time, my friend.
But like I said, let's get John a petition, get him in there, because he deserves it.
Yeah, we need to get John Donaldson in the Hall of Fame, fellas. This pitcher is too good to have been overlooked again, and that piece does definitely sadden me, but we'll keep working at it.
Bob, you have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, same to you guys. Thanks again for having me on.
Thank you, Bob, for your time, buddy.
Okay.
All right.
See you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Talk baseball all day with him. Love it. It's time to take a break. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
This is Bella LaFontaine with Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We take care of all the basics. We take care of cockroaches, ants, wasps. As far as rodents go, most places they'll trap or poison, and that's the end of it. What we do is we're actually going to find the entry points, and we're going to take care of that for you. We do a lot of work with a lot of realtors here in town to bring houses to the closing table. So one of the big things about us is that we're not a sales company. We are a service provider. So we're not looking to meet a sales quota. We're looking to get a house ready to go to closing and get our customers taken care of. This is Bella LaFontaine, Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We are located at 3413 6th Avenue in Huntsville, Alabama. Phone number is 256-701-7095.
Quality Vinyl is on your side. Quality Vinyl in Athens has been in business since 1987, offering great prices and service the whole time. What has changed is the technology of their products. From vinyl siding and shutters, sunrooms and screen rooms, to doors, windows, columns, and rails. Quality Vinyl, located on the corner of Highway 72 and Reed Road in Athens, just 6 miles west of I-65. Call 232-2665 or visit them online at qualityvinyl.net. Quality Vinyl is on your side.
Hey guys, this is Joanna Clem for CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications. I'd like to personally invite you to visit CEI Bookstore. While you're here, you'll find a wide selection of Bibles, gift items, trustworthy study materials, and more for you and your church. Our friendly staff will be happy to help you with your selections while you shop in the store. We even offer personalized Bible imprinting and gift wrapping. Not in the Athens area? Enjoy shopping with us online at truthbooks.com. CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications, taking his hand, helping each other home.
Real estate, real easy. That's the motto at Innovative Realty Solutions, and providing the highest quality real estate services is their mission. With sound real estate advice, the latest information, and a skilled analysis of the real estate market, Innovative Realty Solutions offers a better home buying and selling experience with a fair, ethical, and, yes, innovative process. Innovative Realty Solutions. Visit them on Facebook, online at innovativerealtysolutions.com, at 100 North Clinton Street in Athens, or call 230-5950. Innovative Realty Solutions. Real estate, real easy.
Are your broadband needs growing like wildflowers? Ardmore Telephone Company's fiber fast internet can help. Spruce up your speed with ATC today. Give us a call at 800-830-9946 to upgrade this spring. New internet customers get the first month free. Broadband speeds are based on best availability in your area. Fiber internet is not available in all areas.
P4 Physical Therapy is a new outpatient provider offering community-based care with a unique partnership model that allows them to consistently deliver world-class outpatient care, emphasizing personalized hands-on treatment. Whether it's orthopedic, physical, geriatric, or manual therapy, sports or neuro rehab, telehealth, or most any type of muscle or joint pain, P4 Physical Therapy promises to treat you with integrity, compassion, faithfulness, and selflessness. Locations in Athens, Huntsville, and Winfield, Alabama, as well as Fayetteville and Knoxville, Tennessee. Look for them on Facebook or online at p4physicaltherapy.com. When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at applebees.com and pick your meal up with Carside to go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. Keep up with local school, travel, youth, and amateur sports throughout the week with the Play Action Sports Update. Listen weekday mornings at 7:30 and weekday afternoons at 1:30 and 3:30 as we bring you the latest scores, news, and announcements from Limestone County and surrounding communities. That's the Play Action Sports Update 3 times a day, Monday through Friday on 1080 WKAC. You're listening to the Best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC. We're back with the Best of Tailgate Talk and our third conversation with former Cincinnati and Atlanta shortstop Darrel Chaney after the Braves World Series win. We had been having technical difficulties earlier in the show and just called him live on the air.
Darrel, this phone call has caught you straight on live radio, brother. This is Tom McClung alongside Mr. Tim Lambert.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Tom. Hi, audience.
Absolutely. Man, let's get back. Let's talk about some Braves baseball. What's
I don't really want to talk about them.
You don't really want to talk about them? Well, let's talk about your grandson in the Angels organization.
Oh, well, we can do that. Call me, so you tell me what you talk about. Now listen, I can talk about my grandson and take up your whole show, so I don't want to do that.
Well, let's start off with the Braves because your grandson's in the Angels organization. I'm hoping he gets to pitch out here in Rocket City with the AA Trash Pandas one day.
Well, we do too, and he's got a shot at it, I think. Anyway, yeah, the Braves. I watched every inning, every pregame show, every postgame show. I stayed up late for all the comments from guys I don't really care about listening to, like A-Rod even. And I watched a parade from start to finish last night, and the reason I did it was for Brian Snitker. I got to the Braves in '76, and I think that was his first year as a player. It was either '76 or '77. And he ended up, just 4-year career minor league catcher until Hank got him in the coaching. And there's a story of Brian Snitker over the last 45 years culminating in this World Championship. I'm telling you, I think they ought to write a book about this team, or maybe just make a movie out of it, because there's so many storylines that I don't know who would play Acuna getting hurt. I don't know who would play Stephen Vogt hitting 2 home runs and pulling up with a hamstring and couldn't play in the World Series, but still getting to come to the parade and enjoy it and get a ring, and it's just a story made in heaven. I'd love to see a movie out of it.
maybe we can make them, or somebody can make a movie out of it, because
if I had the money, I'd produce the darn thing.
It's a Cinderella story, man. It's especially Acuna goes down first third of the season before the All-Star break, right?
Yeah, it's kind of widely known now. I know a lot of people in the American League probably didn't even know he got hurt.
Wow.
And he was on his way to being a most valuable player, no doubt in my mind. I mean, he had 24 home runs already.
All right.
So that's when he went down, and then everybody said, "Oh my goodness, this is it," and then old Alex Anthopoulos went to work and
talk about brilliance in the trades.
And that's another part of this movie I'd make. Alex Anthopoulos gets Jock first, then he gets these other 3 guys, and they all contribute. And they go to celebrate. And Anthopoulos gets COVID. He can't even go to Houston for the final game, and he's in the parade all by himself because he's recovered from COVID. Then he's got to go up in a booth and be isolated from everybody. He couldn't be out on the field enjoying it. You just can't make that kind of stuff up.
No. What about the trade for Soler? You trade for him, and he only becomes the World Series MVP.
Well, and I'm sure Alex Anthopoulos didn't have that in mind when he traded for him. He was just trying to say, well, how can I get some power in the lineup to, make up for Acuna being gone? And if you think about it, opening day there were three outfielders that, and then halfway through the season there were 3 outfielders, all different, 6 different guys. And then when they got Soler, when they got Rosario, they got Jock Peterson, they got Duvall back, those 3 and 4 guys were the outfield. So you're looking at 10 outfielders during the season, 7 different catchers. 7. The Braves used 7 different catchers to get through the season.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I was real proud of them. All the Braves fans out there in Braves country showed up yesterday too at that parade, and then to have 41,000 people in that ballpark to end the darn thing and have them parading through center field. I got chills. I mean, it was really neat, and have watching Snitker come in there, walking hand in hand with 2 of his grandkids. It's just and his wife Ronnie, all that she's been through. A ball player can tell you a lot of their strength comes from their spouse during their baseball careers, and God bless Ronnie Snitker for all she went through with Brian too. It's just a movie. It's got to be a movie.
It does, and you heard. I'm not the guy to get on social media and blast any manager for something, but you heard them. You read. Snitker's got to go. What is this stupid call by Snitker? He left this pitcher in 2 pitches too long. Some of the most ridiculous stuff you ever hear. And then by the end of the year, God bless Brian Snitker. I mean, he has managed the Braves perfectly.
I learned this when you get on social media. You gotta, when you're looking at comments, you gotta understand where they're coming from. If it's just a frustrated fan, you're going to hear that kind of stuff,
Right.
But those of us that have been around the game a long time, when he used the word grind throughout most of the season, and that's what they did, and he kept it calm and cool, and showed his emotions only when they got into the playoffs and started crying when he was talking. They were talking post game stuff, and that's real. That was real. That wasn't fake either.
No.
So all those people that were making those comments earlier probably didn't know a whole lot about what was going on and what they were trying to do. Listen, it's not easy to win baseball games. It's not easy to win a lot of them, and it's not easy to get to the playoffs. It's not easy to advance to the playoffs, and it's not easy to win a world championship. I know. I had the experience 3 times, or actually 4 times. And so and I played on one of the greatest teams in the history of the game.
Yes, sir.
And it's hard. It's hard to do. And when a fan hears a manager say this is not easy, he's not complaining. He's telling you the truth.
He's telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking baseball. Atlanta Braves with Darrel Chaney, former Brave, also former member of the Big Red Machine. And do you still have contacts, Darrel, with Snit and some of the others in the organization?
Well, I haven't talked to Snit in a couple of years. I was down at one of the alumni events a couple of years ago, and they had it was on Sunday, and they had chapel, and then they had a mass for the Catholics, and I went to the Catholic mass, and Brian goes to mass every Sunday at the stadium. This is all before COVID, and got to talk to him quite a bit there, and I don't stay in touch with him much anymore. I can text a guy and say congratulations, and if they get a text from Darrel Chaney, and they get a text from a million other people who have been closer to him over the last years than I have. That's for sure. But when I do that kind of thing, I just want them to know that there's an old guy out there that really appreciates what they did.
Yeah. Well, Max Fried pitches that lights out, but Charlie Morton, I mean, he pitches after he gets his leg broken from a baseball hit back up the middle. That's the kind of toughness that, you can see Charlie. I mean, he went until he fell. He went until he could not do another pitch.
Well, of course, he didn't know it was broken. It was hurt. He didn't know it was broken. But, adrenaline has a lot to do with that, too. And I don't know if you saw Charlie came up yesterday at the end of the introductions, and he spoke a very short period of time, and he almost broke down. He was on his crutches, and he talked about how much he loved everybody that was standing there behind him. And Max Fried, his game 6 was Tom Glavine 2.0 1995.
It was something. Yes, sir.
It was something else, and I could see it. I could see it from the moment he got out of that first inning. We're lucky he didn't come out of there with a broken ankle.
Had the runner, I can't remember which one he was, had been wearing metal spikes, there's no way he could have won. You could see the close-up. He was wearing plastic.
Yeah, and he missed a bag.
And he still hadn't touched the bag.
Yes.
Yeah. So nobody caught that, but and even the announcers a couple times later, realized that he missed the bag. But when Fried had first and second, nobody out, and he got out of that, you could see it on his face. He says, "This is it, man. I got him now."
Yes, sir.
And I could just tell it was like he was so focused. And I don't know how many guys are going to win 20 games anymore, the way they do pitching.
Right.
But he's one of them. He's a guy that could, he's a guy that in today's game can give you 6 or 7 innings every time out, and that's after 5 innings you're a pitcher of record. So I think he's got a good chance of doing that, and of course Charlie too when he comes back. But we'll have to see how things shake out. With I just wrote a letter to Tony Clark, the executive director of the Players Association, because they've got this collective bargaining agreement coming up, and I was involved with player rep work during my career, and I spent 26 years in Major League Alumni Association, and tried to help make things better for the older guys, especially the guys that are my age, 70s and 80s and all.
Well, Darrel, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and can't wait to talk to you again.
I appreciate you having me on, and you guys have a blessed weekend. Thanks.
You too, Darrel. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Darrel Chaney on the First National Bank Hotline, making communities great. Well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Are your broadband needs growing like wildflowers? Ardmore Telephone Company's fiber-fast internet can help. Spruce up your speed with ATC today. Give us a call at 800-830-9946 to upgrade this spring. New internet customers get the first month free. Broadband speeds are based on best availability in your area. Fiber internet is not available in all areas.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand, first to help with community events and fundraisers, first to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations, first to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events, and most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together, that's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook, too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon.
Limestone Drug, located on the square in downtown Athens, is your local Health Mart pharmacy. As your local Health Mart pharmacy, Limestone Drug is locally owned and has a personal commitment to the community. Limestone Drug honors prescription drug plans, including Medicare. They accept flex spending cards and fill prescriptions in minutes, not hours. Limestone Drug knows there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. So shop Limestone Drug at 200 West Market Street in Athens, your local Health Mart pharmacy. Limestone Drug, caring for you and about you.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
The Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship has been set up to honor the legacy of Bama Zach Green, a huge fan of the Crimson Tide along with Limestone County sports. The scholarship will go each year to a male and female athlete from Limestone County. Checks should be made out to Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship and can be sent in care of Garth Garris, 13833 Pinnacle Drive, Athens, Alabama, 35613. Donations can also be made in person at First State Bank of the South at 1319 Highway 72 East in Athens. Thank you for showing your support for local athletes by giving to the Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship. The Play Action Sports Report is back in podcast form. Look for it every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform. The Play Action Sports Report. Scores, interviews, highlights, and more from school, youth, and amateur sports in Athens and Limestone County. The Play Action Sports Report every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform or online at pasnetwork.net.
This is the Big 1080 WKAC Athens.
Welcome back to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
We're going to bring in Florida Southern Ladies Basketball head coach Betsy Harris, and she's joining us by phone straight out of Lakeland, Florida. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great. I was looking at all of your stats, and you high school in Decatur, Mississippi, and you go overseas and play professional ball, and then next thing you know, you're down in Lakeland. So
I know. I think I got a little lost.
I don't know. I wanted to ask you what it was like living in Iceland. Yeah, crying out loud. Was it cold?
It was my favorite country.
Really?
I recommend Iceland out of the 5 that I went to.
Now, how do you say the name of the place you were there? Can you say it?
This isn't fair because Southerners, we always add syllables to everything.
Yes, we do.
I say Reykjavik.
You say what?
Reykjavik?
Yes,
Reykjavik? Okay.
Reykjavik. Yeah, it's
My
funny
goodness.
because, Florida's not the South, so nobody sounds like me down here. So it's like another country. So every time I talk, people say something and they laugh, and I'm like, what is going on here? I'm used to Mississippi and Alabama, so
right.
I've learned I've been here 7 years, so I've learned that this is definitely not the South.
Oh, yeah. And people say, well, Florida's in the South, but they don't talk like the rest of the South.
They don't.
Yeah, she lives in the county. Grady Judd's the sheriff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Bartow County, Florida.
We love Grady Judd. Love him.
Let's back up a little bit before we get down to old Sheriff Judd there. You started in Decatur, Mississippi, ended up playing at Alabama from 90 to 94. See, I'm the only Albie here in the room. But
I'm sorry.
We apologize for him all the time, so we get it.
So what was it like going from Decatur, Mississippi to Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Oh, it was a shock because I went to a little 2A public school and I had 54 in my senior class.
Wow.
And then I go straight to Alabama and I'm sitting in a biology class with about 150 students. So it was my first year. It was a huge transition.
Now, how far is Decatur to Tuscaloosa?
It's only 2 hours.
Okay.
I tell people we're in the heart of SEC because Baton Rouge is probably about 3.5. Ole Miss is 3.5. Mississippi State, hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Alabama is 2 hours. And then Auburn is probably 3 hours. So,
I'd say that's the heart of it, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's probably, growing up, being that close to all those many different schools, was there a variety of people who rooted for different SEC schools?
No, my whole family, I'm the only one that strayed away, and they all went to the local junior college, East Central Community College, and then they went straight to Mississippi State University.
Oh.
And my parents have a scholarship in their name there.
Oh, cool.
And my granddad was in the Athletic Hall of Fame, and it was football, basketball, and baseball.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. I thought I was going to go to Mississippi State, and I was not comfortable with the coaching staff, and I was just led to Alabama. I fell in love with it.
Well, it didn't hurt our feelings at all. You had a very successful career, and appreciated you coming and doing what you did. Speaking of which, there's been a little bit of resurgence in the women's program here lately. It's not what it was, and you obviously being a coach and successful coach at that. Do you have the opportunity to still keep up with what not just Alabama but other teams do, or are you just so much focused on what you're doing you really don't have much time?
I'm able to keep up because I usually try to watch Thursday and Sundays because that's when the women play, and I have a good relationship with Christy Curry. Christy does a great job of keeping us informed and keeping us involved, and I really appreciate that from her because not every coach does that, and I definitely make sure that I do it here at Florida Southern. So, we still stay involved. I still stay in touch with Madonna Thompson, who's the coach over at Shelton State.
Awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got the local girl playing down there. Has she graduated yet, Allie Craig Cruz?
No, she's
I think
she's
this
still there. Senior
might
year.
be her senior
Might
year.
be her senior year.
Yeah.
Another girl from small town girl playing basketball down there at Alabama.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And she seems like a lot of fun from what I've seen on social media.
Oh yeah. We've had her on the show 2 or 3 times.
She's a mess. Well, going back to last year's season for y'all at Florida Southern, so obviously I guess COVID hit and the conference decided to pretty much cancel the season. Y'all played maybe 8 games? Is that right?
Yeah, we played 8 games. We
What a
had 4 that
bummer.
was canceled. Yeah, it was. So we didn't have a chance to make NCAA tournament because we didn't get to start until February. And we've made national tournament 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty competitive. So, not having anything really to play for, you play for the love of the game and all, but at the end of it, you're trying to play for something.
Oh, yeah, you want that trophy. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was pretty tough because we ended up in quarantine 2 different times. And we'd come off quarantine, have a day to practice, and then we're playing a game.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So now you risk injury. So
Yes.
it was a no-win situation.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it
I'm kind of glad we got the games, but then again, it's like, it just frustrated me even more.
Well, now I tried to find a schedule for this upcoming season, and I didn't see a schedule for any team in the conference. I mean, y'all are playing, right?
Yeah, ours is up. Our first 2 games are in Cleveland, Tennessee. We're in the same region with them, and we'll actually play them and Alabama Huntsville. I think
nice.
that's like the November, maybe 12th and 13th, whatever that Friday and Saturday is.
Well, we may have to check y'all out. We're right here at UAH, so.
Yeah.
Well, come on.
Well, we've had Coach Lemon on the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now there are 11 teams in your conference. Is that right? Or have they added recently? Have y'all added?
No, it's just 11. I wish they would add a couple more, but it's just 11 of us because the Gulf South Conference, they've got a lot.
Oh, yeah. And it's, most of the time, 14 seems to be kind of the sweet spot, I think, more or less, for conference play. But now, are the rules any different for, say, if a player that is vaccinated gets COVID versus one that gets vaccinated gets COVID? Like, are the quarantine times shorter for the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated, or is it all the same? Or do you know?
It's all the same.
It is all the same?
No, it's all, well, things change. We learned how to adjust a lot.
I'm sure.
Last year. But, so, say somebody that got vaccinated gets a positive, so she is out for the 10 to 14 days, and so are the unvaccinated because they were in contact with her. But the ones that were vaccinated, they don't have to quarantine. They could still keep playing, which is crazy and funny because they could still get it.
They can still get it. That makes no sense, actually.
Look, nothing makes sense, and as Judge Judy says, if it doesn't make sense, it's not right, it's not true.
I love it. I love it.
Back with more of our Tailgate Talk conversation after this. Quality Vinyl is on your side. Quality Vinyl in Athens has been in business since 1987, offering great prices and service the whole time. What has changed is the technology of their products. From vinyl siding and shutters, sunrooms and screen rooms, to doors, windows, columns, and rails. Quality Vinyl, located on the corner of Highway 72 and Reed Road in Athens, just 6 miles west of I-65. Call 232-2665 or visit them online at qualityvinyl.net. Quality Vinyl is on your side.
This is Bella LaFontaine with Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We take care of all the basics. We take care of cockroaches, ants, wasps. As far as rodents go, most places they'll trap or poison, and that's the end of it. What we do is we're actually going to find the entry points, and we're going to take care of that for you. We do a lot of work with a lot of realtors here in town to bring houses to the closing table. So one of the big things about us is that we're not a sales company. We are a service provider. So we're not looking to meet a sales quota. We're looking to get a house ready to go to closing and get our customers taken care of. This is Bella LaFontaine, Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We are located at 3413 6th Avenue in Huntsville, Alabama. Phone number is 256-701-7095.
Real estate real easy. That's the motto at Innovative Realty Solutions, and providing the highest quality real estate services is their mission. With sound real estate advice, the latest information, and a skilled analysis of the real estate market, Innovative Realty Solutions offers a better home buying and selling experience with a fair, ethical, and, yes, innovative process. Innovative Realty Solutions. Visit them on Facebook, online at innovativerealtysolutions.com, at 100 North Clinton Street in Athens, or call 230-5950. Innovative Realty Solutions. Real estate real easy. When things go wrong, State Farm is here to help life go right. And Agent Michael Howell is the one who can help get things back on track. See Michael for your auto, home, life, health, property, and business insurance, and be ready for those unexpected twists that life throws at you. Ask about banking and annuities, too. Call State Farm Agent Michael Howell at 232-5400. Visit him online at michaelhowell.net or go see him at 903 South Clinton Street in Athens. State Farm Agent Michael Howell. There when things go wrong, here to help life go right.
All of us love sports, but not all sports are created equal. College sports have big budgets, dedicated alumni networks, and corporate sponsorships. Professional sports have even deeper pockets, millionaire owners, lucrative TV and radio deals, and merchandise sales. High school sports have you. Everyone agrees high school sports give us plenty of reasons to cheer. And now's a great time for us to give back. Supporting your hometown high school won't cost you much, but it will go a long way to ensuring the games we love the most are here to stay. Alabama High School Sports. They're good for our kids, good for our community, and best of all, they're good for you.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Want to howl with the Havoc this season? Now's your chance from Tailgate Talk and the Huntsville Havoc. Just go to tailgatetalk.net and register your name. Then listen to Tailgate Talk Saturday mornings at 10 as we announce the weekly winners of Huntsville Havoc tickets. Howl with the Havoc this season from the Huntsville Havoc, Tailgate Talk, and 1080 WKAC. You're listening to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Okay, I've got a quick question. Away from your current basketball team, you were the foreign player of the year in 1996 for the Erbelsfield. Am I even close?
You're as bad as I am about myself right now.
I just had to give it a shot. You know what I'm saying?
You're a better man than me.
Yeah, that was in Iceland. That was in that country.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. I didn't even know I was that until I saw it online, and I told my nephew, because my nephew's actually an Ole Miss fan, and he lives with me here, and he's a senior at Florida Southern, so we got that big game going on today. So I don't need our guys to let me down, because I got a huge Ole Miss fan in the house.
Well, my wife's son is a freshman in the big famous Maroon marching band in Starkville, so yeah, we're kind of, and she's a Bama fan, so we're kind of rooting for Bama today. Not Ole Miss, definitely not Ole Miss.
Well, it's crazy. I'm a big college football fan, and of course, I lean toward the SEC, so I watch all college football. Anytime the SEC's in bowl games, I go for all of them, and people are like, "You go for Auburn or you go for Ole Miss?" I said, "At this point, all I see is SEC." Right. I said, so I'm going for a SEC bunch because it just makes our conference stronger.
It does.
It does.
Well, you're better than Todd is.
Todd will root against it, don't care. If it ain't Bama, he don't care.
I think back in the 90s when Syracuse played Auburn, Syracuse had been running their mouth a lot, and I didn't say War Eagle or anything nasty like that, but I kind of rooted for them a tad just because I thought, don't let the Big East beat the stinking SEC. So that was back. Yeah, you were a baby back then, so I don't know. But I did want to ask you.
I didn't graduate until '94.
Well, that's true. That's true. So playing overseas, being MVP and all that, you get a shot with the Detroit Shock, and how did? You were averaging 20-something, 26 points a game over there in Iceland, coming off that MVP season. How did your tryout go? How did you feel like it went? Did you feel like you did enough to make the Detroit team? And how bad, if really that bad at all, did you want to play in the WNBA?
Oh, gosh. I thought I was going to play the rest of my life. I couldn't think of anything else because the game is such a huge passion for me. So I don't know of anything else. But there was about 300 people at the WNBA combine. Oh, wow. And so I got invited to Detroit and Phoenix, and I decided Detroit because it was a new franchise. Nancy Lieberman was the coach.
Yeah, wow.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. And then Lynette Woodard was in the tryout.
Oh, wow.
So, I was around these great women, and the tryout I thought went great. I got to meet Joe Dumars. We played against Grant Hill.
Hey. Wow.
Jerry Stackhouse. They thought dunking on women was cool. So, I'm just like, you're supposed to do that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, punks.
That's just when you bust a three in their face and then, tell them to sit down or something.
And honestly, I did that. But I felt great about it. When I go and I've got Joe Dumars, I go and I introduce myself because I was always a huge fan of his because I thought he was the most underrated player in the NBA. And he's like, "Oh, you're the shooter from Alabama," and I'm like stunned, like shocked, like, "Okay, just cut me now. I'm good. Whatever you got to do."
Yeah, for him to know.
I didn't mean it, and I still got. I didn't mean it. I shouldn't have said it. But my roommate and I, the other girl that was trying out, she went to Iowa, and we both got cut like a week or a few days before the season. And Sandy Brondello, who is the head coach for the Phoenix Mercury right now, she's the one that came in and took my spot. Decent player, just decent. She was a heck of a player, but it was really hard. I left there with a stress fracture because I wouldn't get out of practice. And when you have a stress fracture, I don't know if it's just something that, coach probably couldn't take a chance on me because, getting over a stress fracture, the season would probably already be over.
Yep.
But it was a heartbreaker. Like, I could not touch a basketball for a month. I couldn't get near it because I was just so let down. And then I just put it in perspective, and I was like, I played in 2 exhibition games. I scored every time. I made sure nobody scored on me. So, I feel like I was good enough to play. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. And it sounds like you were, and you've certainly taken what you've learned as a player and just turned it into an unbelievable coaching career.
Absolutely.
And, I'm sure where you're at now, it's not going to be your final destination. Bigger and better things. Not that Florida Southern's not, but it is, a big deal. But as young as you are and as talented as you are, we're going to be seeing you at a D1 school at some point.
Well, the goal is a national championship, and we have more than any D2 in the nation. We have 30.
Wow.
And women, only 30. Women's basketball has not won it in our conference. So I tell the girls all the time, I'm like, be that special team, be that team that everybody remembers, be the first. So we got close my second year because we made it to the Elite Eight. And then we lost by 4 to the national champion, and then we've been to the tournament ever since. But it's kind of like, when we would go in the SEC tournament, I always thought playing in the SEC tournament was harder than playing in the NCAA tournament.
Wow.
That was when, we had Jim Foster at Vandy. We had Pat Summit over at Tennessee.
Yeah.
We had Carol Ross over at Florida. You had Joe Champion at Auburn. I mean, you had all these big-time coaches. And, we had about 8 teams going to the national tournament.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Women's basketball was really good back in the early 90s when you were playing.
Yeah. It was huge. So even here, it's like going through regionals is so hard. You're just beating up on each other because you're still playing teams from your conference and then the region. But it's like when you make the Elite Eight, you can tell a difference. You're like, okay, we got this now.
Yeah.
And, of course, we didn't then. But now, once you've been there, it's like, okay, we've got this. Now it's trying to get the girls to understand that.
Yeah. Let me ask you this real quick. And it just came to my mind. The NCAA had a committee, I guess for lack of a better word, that they put together, and they went down through some things about equality. And it looks like this coming year they're going to have the women's Final Four alongside the men's Final Four for the NCAA tournament. To me that's pretty cool. What are your thoughts on that? Having all those games together in one location, all those eyeballs and cameras. On the women as well as the men.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's not like I get down about it, or it's not like I get really excited about it. And I don't know, maybe I'm different. I just want to coach it, basketball. I don't care if we're with the guys or without the guys. It's, I'll say on one thing, when you have double headers with the guys, it's a huge difference. It's great for the women's game.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, so hopefully it will be, but they already drew like huge crowds anyway, especially in the Final Four.
I kind of thought the same thing, but I was like, well, they're selling out, so I don't really know why, but equals equal,
yeah,
right?
I think it's just
a gesture.
It's thrown out, and it's kind of like, here you go, now you should feel better. Yeah. And sometimes when you do things, it's not necessarily the right thing, but with that, it's not a big deal. I will say that I love the double headers with our guys because we'll get their fans coming in the second half, and we've had some of them join our booster club.
Awesome.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
So that's been great. So I like working with the guys. It's fun. I don't know if it's just the level like D2, but they support each other. with it being smaller schools, it's closer together, and all the athletes support each other. And it's kind of like me being from my small town. It's kind of like that small school. Yeah. And then when you get on the D1 level, it's a different beast. It's so different. It just depends on, what you want. I tell girls all the time, do you want to win a national championship, or do you want to go to that D1 that's never going to win a national championship, but they're going to win a conference championship? And I said, that's the difference. Which level do you want to go to? There's nothing wrong with either. But, what are your goals?
Yeah. I was looking down your roster here to see if maybe you had some players from up around our neck of the woods here in North Alabama, and I did notice that you got a player from Norway and one from Belarus. Is that does that come from your overseas connections there?
Well, I never heard that country before, Belarus, but I have heard of Belarus.
Oh, Belarus. Well, there you go. There you go. There's your southern pronunciation.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Eagles.
Belarus. Okay. That sounds like somebody's name. Belarus.
It really does. I've got a great combination. I've got 5 internationals. I have out-of-staters. I have, of course, Florida kids, and I can't say who or where, but we've got a great kid committed that's over that way, and for next year, and I'm very, very excited about that kid. I can't even mention her name until she signs, but I've been trying to get.
We won't tamper with it. We won't encourage you or nothing. You tell us we're safe.
I'll tell you November 11th.
There we go.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I still can't get over Belarus and Belarus here. So.
Well, I'm telling you guys are making me feel so much better about myself.
Is that a compliment or not? That's kind of a backhanded compliment.
The only time
I just say it's a compliment.
The only time I hear the country Belarus is in the Olympics, because they always bring a strong gymnastic. They used to. They would bring a strong gymnastic team.
It's the only time every 4 years.
That's great.
That'll teach me to look up the pronunciation.
Well, listen, you guys. When I was playing in Spain, that was my second country. When I was my first country, and the players used to say, "Oh, we love how you talk. We love your accent." And I said, "Well, why?" I'm like, "Why do you like my accent?" And they're like, "You talk so slow, we can understand you." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to take that. Is that a good thing? Or is that a bad thing?" And I couldn't do anything but laugh, because I know what they're talking about. We add syllables. We tend to sing sometimes when we talk.
That's true. We do. And there's nothing wrong with it.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
There is nothing wrong with it.
When people tell me, because I worked for a good year in Akron, Ohio, and people tell me, "Man, I love your accent." So, man, I don't have an accent. Everybody talks like this when I live.
Y'all have the accent.
Y'all have the accent. That's true.
Exactly. It's funny. Our Spanish freshman, she said y'all the other day, and I just double taked, like, what? And she even spelled it out in the text. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything or make fun, because I want her to keep saying that.
Heck yeah, break her in right. That's right.
I know.
That's great. Well, Betsy, it's been great talking to you, Coach. Sorry, I just feel like I can call you Betsy now.
Of course, do.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go, and don't be a stranger. It's been a while since I used to have to go down to Polk County a lot. I called it Bartow County earlier because I stayed in Bartow all the time. But if I ever
that's more of the country.
Yeah,
Bartow's more of the country.
It's more of the country, yes. That time that gator run out in front of me and I almost hit it. I knew exactly I was in the country. Them and hogs, you got to watch out for them down there.
Yes, I've seen both.
Absolutely. Coach Harris, thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
I appreciate it, and roll tide.
Roll tide.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Coach Betsy Harris of the Florida Southern Ladies basketball team. And we'll be right back here listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
From day one, First National Bank has been built on a strong foundation of community first. First to lend a helping hand. First to help with community events and fundraisers. First to support local students, athletic programs, and civic organizations. First to support events like United Way, Relay for Life, and many more charitable events. And most importantly, working for our great community. Without you, there'd be no First National Bank. Making communities great together. That's what we strive for.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Daly & Son Car Care is Ardmore's only one-stop auto repair and tire shop. Whether it's major mechanic or brake work or routine maintenance like an oil change or lube job, Daly & Son Car Care has been satisfying customers all over with their fast and friendly service. They're also your headquarters for quality Cooper tires. Stop by and see Wayne, Nikki, or Dale at 25600 Main Street in Ardmore, Tennessee, or call them at 931-427-4651. They're on Facebook too. Daly & Son Car Care, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till noon. If you're running out of space and a yard sale just isn't an option, Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage gives you the choice. Midpoint Storage on Highway 72 East has traditional or climate-controlled units along with spaces for your boat or RV. Buddy Box offers convenient, secured, portable storage units delivered right to your home. They're both locally owned, too. Call 256-800-4249. Look for them on Facebook or online at midpoint.storage.com or buddyboxstorage.com. It's a win-win situation. Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage. 256-800-4249.
Hey guys, this is Joanna for CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications. Many of you are searching for Bible study materials for your Bible classes. Our best-selling Bible curriculum, Discovering God's Way, is a reliable tool for teaching students of all ages through the Bible in its entirety. We're sure you'll love this curriculum, and if you'd like to see other options of Bible classes, we'll be happy to help you select from our topical studies. So stop struggling with the search and come by and let us help you select reliable and meaningful study materials for your class today. CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications, taking his hand, helping each other home.
P4 Physical Therapy is a new outpatient provider offering community-based care with a unique partnership model that allows them to consistently deliver world-class outpatient care, emphasizing personalized hands-on treatment. Whether it's orthopedic, physical, geriatric, or manual therapy, sports or neuro rehab, telehealth, or most any type of muscle or joint pain, P4 Physical Therapy promises to treat you with integrity, compassion, faithfulness, and selflessness. Locations in Athens, Huntsville, and Winfield, Alabama, as well as Fayetteville and Knoxville, Tennessee. Look for them on Facebook or online at p4physicaltherapy.com.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State Hometown Team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
Keep up with local school, travel, youth, and amateur sports throughout the week with the Play Action Sports Update. Listen weekday mornings at 7:30 and weekday afternoons at 1:30 and 3:30 as we bring you the latest scores, news, and announcements from Limestone County and surrounding communities. That's the Play Action Sports Update 3 times a day, Monday through Friday on 1080 WKAC. Welcome back to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary M. Pomerantz, author of The Last Pass, Cousy, Russell, The Celtics, What Matters in the End. Gary, welcome to Tailgate Talk.
Hey, thanks. It's fun to be on with you guys.
Oh, dude, we're excited. We were discussing. I'm not a big fan of the NBA as it is, but back when it was in the 80s, I did really enjoy the game.
Well, you know, this book about Cousy and Russell takes it back way beyond, of course, beyond the 80s. This takes it to the 50s and 60s.
Yes.
You know, this is a time when you got to put aside all notions of what we think of with the NBA today, all the, you know, the big arenas and the glitz and the exploding lights. This was a time, as the old joke went, when, you know, before the game, they would the PA announcer would introduce the starting lineups, each player, and then they would introduce each fan because there were so few of them there.
Yeah.
Well, and Cousy, you know, you think about Russell and Cousy, that's sort of the Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig of that great Celtics dynasty that won 11 NBA titles in 13 years between 1957 and 69. And my book, The Last Pass, is really about an old man, Cousy, now 90, coming to terms with his life. And he's got some regrets about his 7 seasons as Russell's teammate.
Yep.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Todd.
I just wanted to ask, because, there was so much racial tension back then in the Boston area and stuff. Did it resonate with the players as well? I mean, as far as the tension, were the black players kind of over here to their side, and then the white players, on their side, or did they not really pay attention to that kind of stuff, being teammates?
Well, nothing happens in a vacuum, and neither did this Cousy-Russell relationship. I mean, if you want to put it on the civil rights timeline, Russell comes to the team, to the Celtics, in December of 1956 from the Melbourne Olympics. And that's roughly, the time of the end of the Montgomery bus boycott.
Yeah.
They remained teammates for 7 years, and, till 1963, the time of the March on Washington. So the South is a boil, and there are a lot of racial flashpoints going on. And Russell faced the blast furnace heat of racists. I mean, in St. Louis, for instance, which was then the southernmost city in the league. Today we call them the Atlanta Hawks. Back then, the St. Louis Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
But Russell would go there, and he called St. Louis just the loneliest town. Fans would catcall him baboon, black gorilla. And in Boston, which has its own fraught racial history, Russell would drive home to Reading, which is a Boston suburb where he lived with his young family. Police would eye him suspiciously as he drove through town, and once vandals broke into his home, shattered his trophy case, spray-painted racist graffiti on the wall, and defecated on his bed.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
I've never heard that story.
Wow.
Yeah, so bad stuff. And on the court, they just made it work. And the Celtics were, the first team in the NBA to draft an African-American player, Chuck Cooper, in 1950.
Yeah, we actually had his son on.
Yes.
Yeah, well, okay, so then, Cousy and Russell are perfectly interlocking pieces on the floor. Cousy was known as the Houdini of the hardwood. For some of your younger listeners, he was the first guy, Bob Cousy, to dribble behind his back and throw these no-look passes. Early on, these passes were ricocheting off the heads of his teammates. They didn't know they were coming. And Cousy was, the razzle-dazzle man, the Houdini.
Yeah.
And Russell was, of course, the great center.
Yeah, love watching old NBA classics and stuff with those.
But you just and just seeing what you're saying about that, how they could just put all that together on the court. But then that was before my time. But I grew up a Boston Celtic fan back in the Havlicek, days, just a little bit younger than those days. But to see how they could mesh together on the court, but all this was happening off the court.
Yeah, and those are powerful symbols, right? Sports being the ultimate meritocracy where the best man plays. And, Cousy was considered one of the good guys to the league's early African-American players. He roomed with Chuck Cooper, the first black player ever drafted in the NBA, in 1950. And that's only 3 years after Jackie Robinson integrated baseball.
Yeah.
And yet he's had these enduring regrets about Russell. Cousy, now 90, Russell, 85. Cousy regrets that as captain of the Celtics, he didn't speak out publicly about the prejudice that Russell was facing in Boston and around the league. He wishes he had pulled Russell aside and said, Russ, I've got your back. And, here's the thing. We know that great athletes, as they grow old, tend to embellish or burnish the stories they tell about themselves. The fish they caught as a boy keeps growing with each telling, and soon it's a whale, right?
Yeah.
But Cousy's not doing that. Cousy is doing the opposite of that. He's not gilding any lilies. He's saying, this is who I was, and it's his final declaration.
Wow.
I should have done more. And for all of us, those two words are really hard to say. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter what it is, right? I'm sorry, or I was wrong. And Cousy is saying that, and he's closing that circle. Now, the title of the book is The Last Pass. Cousy, of course, was a great passer. That is, when the ball wasn't ricocheting off the head of Bill Sharman. But you know, he wanted to figure out how he could close this last circle in his life with Bill Russell. And I asked him, I said, you know, why Russell? You were only teammates for 7 years out of the 90 years of your life. And what Cousy said, in effect, was, those weren't just any 7 seasons. We did win 6 NBA championships. And Russell wasn't just any man. You know, Russell spoke out against prejudice where and when he saw it. He called out the NBA in those early years for having a quota that limited the number of opportunities for African-American players. So Cousy, now as he's 87, 88 years old, is trying to figure out how to close this circle, and he decided to do what he often does. He pulled out a sheet of paper and a pen, and he wrote a letter. Cousy's an old-fashioned letter writer, and he wrote a 1.5-page letter to Russell, a mea culpa letter, apologizing that he hadn't done more for him in their years together. And that is the last best of the title of the book.
So what is Bill? So I guess in the book, do you have what Bill Russell? What was his response to that letter?
Yes, I do. And you know, Russell is not in great health.
Yeah, no, he's not.
You know, he's as I say, he's 85 years old, and he didn't respond for a year, for 2 years, for 2.5 years, and then on a Sunday night, August of 2018, Bob Cousy's phone rang in Worcester, Mass. And he picked up, and he heard an old, enfeebled voice say, "Bob, it's Bill Russell calling. I'm calling to see how you are."
Wow.
And it was a really important phone call. You know, it was Russell receiving the pass that Cousy had thrown to him with his letter. And, you know, they talked for 10 or 12 minutes. Russell doesn't hear well, and Cousy said he filled the gaps in the conversation. And he said, "Russ, you know, thank you for calling." And I know that Cousy deeply appreciated the call. I do think that for Cousy, you know, he had closed the circle with the writing of the letter.
Yeah. That was still a long 2+ years, though, probably.
You know
waiting
it.
for that
I was sitting there thinking that, yes.
Wow. 2 years ago, I wrote a letter, and I still hadn't heard nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But he knew there were extenuating circumstances. And, you know, this is, look, we all know this, right? When we're young, we want to be the great man. And then as we get a little older, as Cousy certainly has, you know, we get a little more context and wisdom. We realize we're not going to live forever. Life's not eternal for us. And we aspire then to be a good man. And I think that's where Cousy is, you know, with the writing of this letter.
Wow.
That's great. Todd, Tim?
I thought Tim had something.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask him about the title because I thought maybe it referred to the last pass Bob Cousy ever made as a pro player.
I think this was a better pass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just, you know, you're so good with words, Gary, and you know, you're just, the whole time you're talking, you know, you can visualize, you know, the listener can visualize all of what's going on, and so I'm just sitting here kind of in a trance, you know, trying to, you know, look at Bill Russell read that letter, and or even Cousy sitting down at the table to write it, and you know, both men, not just on the court but off the court, have been beloved for years, you know, and you know, Bill Russell still to this day. I saw him, I believe it was last year, at the NBA Hall of Fame, and you know, walking with a cane, and had to have help, more feeble than usual, but it was just wonderful to be able to see him and listen to him talk.
Yeah, and, you know, like I say, this is the Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig of that dynasty, and we know, at least as baseball fans, that Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig died young. You know, Gehrig died of ALS in his 30s, and Ruth of cancer in his at 53. So they never had the chance, as old men, to talk about not games, but what it all meant. You know, what was it all about? And now Cousy and Russell have had that chance. And, you know, this was, I mean, you know, the Lakers, like Pat Riley's year, used to talk about a three-peat. Well, just think that, you know, when you consider the dominance of the Celtics in the fall of 1966, They were going for a 9-peat.
Wow, that is incredible.
They were going for 9 in a row. That's a real dynasty.
I mean, that's absolutely, and that'll never ever be duplicated, replicated again.
I don't think.
No.
Well, me being a Lakers fan, I'm the Celtics were a thorn in their sides for a long time. But that being said, I like the Lakers. I mean, the Celtics back then too. I mean, just old NBA.
Yeah, it was a lot different.
I was just more fan of more teams than I am now.
Well, Gary, I think NBA. I think it ended after the Larry Bird.
Robert Parrish.
No, Larry
Magic
Bird.
Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Oh,
era.
yes.
I think that was the best era in the NBA. Well, Michael Jordan too, but maybe after that. But with Larry Bird, Magic Johnson area, that was some of the best basketball that I remember at my age. I'm 55, and that was some of my favorite basketball.
55, you're old, and I'm 58.
I am old, Gary.
What does that make me? I'm 58. So, no, but I agree with you. I agree with you. To me, there are 4 players in NBA history who sort of saved the league when it needed saving.
Yeah.
First is Bob Cousy, because back in the middle 50s and late 50s, and then, I think fans, particularly sports writers, the traditionalist sports columnists across America, mocked the NBA. They were more interested in the college game. And the NBA, they call these guys, these tall guys, they were clods. They were pituitary freaks.
Yeah.
So Cousy made the game accessible to everyday people because he was only 6'1".
Yep.
Then he had Will Chamberlain in the 60s. Everybody wanted a man who scored 100 points in a game. And then the league was suffering again. And then here came Magic and Larry Bird in the late 70s. And they brought it back to life. They saved it again when it needed saving, so that by the time Michael Jordan comes in, the league is viable again. And people forget that as recently as the 1980s, the NBA Finals were televised on tape delay.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, but some of us, that wasn't so long ago.
Friday night games. Tape delayed. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
And
so anyway, so the league has grown, and it's important to realize where it began. I mean, Cousy in the 50s founded alone. He founded the NBA Players Association, the union.
Really?
Now, it's a matter of comparison, and Bob Cousy's last year with the Boston Celtics, 1963, the last year of the Kennedy administration, Cousy earned a salary of $35,000.
Wow. It was rocking back then.
Last year, LeBron James and Steph Curry both earned $35 million.
Isn't that crazy? And they owe it all to Cousy and that bunch.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I imagine, Bob Cousy experienced the backlash, whenever he burst on the scene, too, with all that razzle-dazzle style of
Yeah, you're right.
Too fancy.
You're right. You're right. I mean, we go back and consider the 1950s. It was a pretty conservative time in America. McCarthyism, the years of President Eisenhower, but there were other renegades who were pushing out, in their own creative ways. Elvis Presley, James Dean, and here's Bob Cousy doing it in the NBA.
Yep, that's awesome.
No two-hand set shots for him.
No, nobody's seen anything like that at the time.
And if you think about it, he probably set the course for Pistol Pete to come along behind him.
Oh yeah.
Well, Pistol Pete is the one, most often compared with Cousy. And Preston Maravich, his father, the coach at LSU, used to say Cousy had none of the Pistols moves. and I think it just made Cousy growl a little bit.
I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it did.
Oh. Yeah. So how do we get this book?
Well, the book is available in, as they say, all the usual places, at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, at Barnes & Noble bookstores, and all bookstores. It's called The Last Pass. The subtitle is Cousy, Russell, the Celtics, and What Matters in the End.
That is awesome. Gary, thank you so much for joining us. Every time we get an author like this that comes in and shares history, we're always smarter and just even more grateful for you guys joining us and sharing your story with us.
Well, it's really fun to be on with you guys, and Tim, I thank you for the invitation.
That's great.
Thank you, Gary. So before I let you go real quick, and this was an honor to talk to you, are you going to continue to lecture and author books and stuff and be a journalist, or when are you going to take over your father-in-law's?
I'm a writer, and I'm gonna stick with what I do. I'm gonna keep teaching at Stanford, and I'm gonna keep writing books.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I was joking anyway.
Hey, it's good to talk with you guys.
All right, take care,
Thanks, Gary.
man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Gary Pomerantz, author of The Last Pass, Cousy Russell, and the Celtics, What Matters in the End, and that is a very touching story.
And his father-in-law, by the way, is Charles Schwab.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was Googling. I was trying to figure out who it was.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
He's only worth $8.1 billion.
Maybe. I wouldn't. Yeah. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a quick break. You're listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk.
If you're running out of space and a yard sale just isn't an option, Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage gives you the choice. Midpoint Storage on Highway 72 East has traditional or climate-controlled units along with spaces for your boat or RV. Buddy Box offers convenient, secured, portable storage units delivered right to your home. They're both locally owned, too. Call 256-800-4249. Look for them on Facebook or online at midpoint.storage.com or buddyboxstorage.com. It's a win-win situation. Midpoint Storage and Buddy Box Storage. 256-800-4249. Quality Vinyl is on your side. Quality Vinyl in Athens has been in business since 1987, offering great prices and service the whole time. What has changed is the technology of their products. From vinyl siding and shutters, sunrooms and screen rooms, to doors, windows, columns, and rails. Quality Vinyl, located on the corner of Highway 72 and Reed Road in Athens, just 6 miles west of I-65. Call 232-2665 or visit them online at qualityvinyl.net. Quality Vinyl is on your side.
Hey guys, this is Joanna for CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications. Many of you are searching for Bible study materials for your Bible classes. Our best-selling Bible curriculum, Discovering God's Way, is a reliable tool for teaching students of all ages through the Bible in its entirety. We're sure you'll love this curriculum, and if you'd like to see other options of Bible classes, we'll be happy to help you select from our topical studies. So stop struggling with the search and come by and let us help you select reliable and meaningful study materials for your class today. CEI Bookstore and Truth Publications, taking his hand, helping each other home.
The Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship has been set up to honor the legacy of Bama Zach Green, a huge fan of the Crimson Tide, along with Limestone County sports. The scholarship will go each year to a male and female athlete from Limestone County. Checks should be made out to Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship and can be sent in care of Garth Garris, 13833 Pinnacle Drive, Athens, Alabama, 35613. Donations can also be made in person at First State Bank of the South at 1319 Highway 72 East in Athens. Thank you for showing your support for local athletes by giving to the Bama Zach Memorial Scholarship. Need custom screen printing or other promotional products? Got You Covered Screen Printing and More in Athens is, well, got you covered. Screen printing, promotional items, stickers, graphic design, vinyl for signs and garments, and other customized products. They also offer local pickup and delivery services, rush orders, volume discounts, and can customize any project to meet your needs. Got You Covered guarantees to get the job done and will work hard to make sure you're completely satisfied. Call today, 444-4500, or stop by and see them at 389 West Sandifer Road in Athens. Got You Covered Screen Printing and More. Check out the WKAC sports page. Go to WKAC1080.com and click on the WKAC sports icon. You can listen to the current sports stream as well as game archives, past coaches' shows, and Applebee's Tailgate Talk on demand. If you're on your smartphone, you can stay automatically updated as new items are posted. The WKAC sports page. Another reason why your best source for Limestone County sports is WKAC1080.com and 1080 WKAC. You're listening to the best of Tailgate Talk on 1080 WKAC.
We have Coach Akasha Kasper, the ladies lacrosse coach, the new ladies lacrosse coach. 2 years ago we were here and there was a different lady that was the lacrosse coach. So we get to start the interview all over again, get to ask all the same questions. And ladies and gentlemen, Coach Kasper is nervous. She's like really nervous. She wanted a list of the questions before. I'm like, Heck, I ain't got the list of questions before. We don't know what we're going to talk about. Oh, except the first thing, all this mud out here. You girls are strictly instructed to take their cleats off before they come into the lobby, right?
They are indeed. You
Yes.
probably saw them out here stripping their cleats off.
They were out there banging them on the concrete, and one girl looked like she was about to die. Was this a overly hard practice? I mean, girl looked like she was ready to vom.
Well, this has been our first week of practice back for the spring semester. We got our first inter-squad scrimmage out there. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's been a long week, but they've been working hard. They're actually in the weight room right now, finishing up this week.
Sweet. So I rolled around. I was in my truck, and I said, "That's the women's lacrosse team. Come on, roll over and look." And then a couple of folks looking at me because I was driving slow, and I said, "I better just get over here and park." They have the police called on me. Stalking girls. BTK over here stalking the girls. Oh, me. So where did you come from? Your state of origin and all that stuff. What led you to UAH?
I actually grew up in North Carolina.
What part?
Greensboro area.
Okay.
So I guess, start my lacrosse career. I started actually playing my freshman year in high school. My PE teacher at the time got me into it. I ended up playing in college, and after I finished up at Queens playing, I took a job in graphic design actually, and I decided I wanted to get back to the sport.
It's my son's field.
Really,
yeah.
I absolutely loved it, and I couldn't stay away from it for long. So I had a couple assistant jobs along the way. I was fortunate to get a little bit of head coaching experience from the University of Charleston up in West Virginia. And then, when this opportunity came up and Dr. Kate Smith offered me the job, I couldn't turn it down, and I'm glad I'm here now.
Well, you're closer, a little closer to Greensboro.
Farther, actually.
Oh, really?
This is actually the furthest I've been away from, my parents or whatever you want to call home.
Gotcha.
So about 8 hours from home now, but I cannot complain. I absolutely love it here. So.
I go to Mount Airy a lot.
Okay, yeah,
That's
not far.
one of my go-to places I have to work in all the time. So I love it. One of the hardest thing about going to Mayberry is leaving Mayberry. Folks, it's great up there. So back to lacrosse. Let's see. We talked about you had the scrimmage. Let's see. Other than goals, okay, here's something I've been wondering. Other than the obvious goals, like in basketball, there's such a thing as a triple-double.
Yeah.
There are, scores, rebounds, assists. Are there any other things that, let's say, that you can be awarded during the game that don't count as a goal?
There's a ton of different things, statistically speaking, that you can be awarded. I think the biggest thing that we're focusing on with the team this year as we're kind of transitioning into a new style of play is just possession in general. And there's a lot of things that come along with that. We're focusing very heavily on our draw controls. That's what starts our game and what starts in between every single goal.
Yes.
It's a 50-50 possession
ball.
Yep, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
We're focusing a lot on possession and really taking care of those 50-50 balls. So, I think draw controls are something that we focus heavily on. Ground balls is something we focus heavily on. We want to be the team that's, doing the dirty work and getting our 50-50 possessions and, making those more 80-20 possessions than 50-50 for our team.
So you see, when they have the ball in the net on the stick and they're flipping it back and forth, they look and they I'm sure it's not the correct word, but they fling it to the other person who has the stick. Now, and because it's come to my mind.
I'm going to start using that terminology.
Yeah, don't.
It might be more entertaining.
Please don't.
How many flings did you get?
How many flings did you get in the game? Well, I got 32 flings, Coach.
Fling it here.
Fling it. Hey, I'm open. Fling it. You just mentioned ground balls. I mean, do a lot of the balls, are they ground balls? Do they catch them in the air, catch them on the bounce?
Well, we're hoping if they're on the ground, it's the other team's fault, right?
Gotcha.
But, sometimes after the draw control or, if we cause a turnover, it's change of possession. Mm-hmm. That ball will be on the ground. So that's what ground balls, any change of possession or anything off the draw. That
you got to reach down and pick it up.
Yeah, we got to get nice and low, get after the ball, and, like I said, just doing the hard work.
Sometimes in hockey, they can, if the puck gets tipped up in the air, they can grab it, but they got to put it straight down.
Yep.
What about the lacrosse?
No
you
hands.
Can't touch that
Only
thing.
Our goalies. That's it.
Oh, really?
Only our goalies in their goal circle.
Cool. So you can fling it, but you can't touch it.
Right. Yeah. There you go. You got it.
I never really thought about that because you got soccer and hockey.
Yeah, you can't touch it with soccer unless you're a goalie.
Yeah.
Unless you're a keeper. Excuse me.
But then lacrosse, everybody's got the sticks and everything. I just didn't even think about them even using their hands,
Can't do it.
Or even the goalies, You know,
Yeah.
Our goalies are the only ones that are allowed, but their little goal circle that they have, that's the only space that they can use their hands within that goal circle.
How much bigger is the goalie? What do you call it, the end of the stick net?
It's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah,
their stick, it's quite a bit bigger for our goalies.
That's cool. Huh. Feel like Chris Farley. You remember that time y'all played lacrosse? That's cool. That's really cool. Just think she was nervous to come on.
She had no idea.
I know, right? So are you able to recruit? Last coach we talked to, she mentioned having to really recruit up in the north.
Yes.
Because there's not a lot of lacrosse beneath the Mason-Dixon line, so to speak.
Right.
Is it still the same, or can you go to North Carolina? Like, you played in North Carolina.
Right.
Can you go to North Carolina and find?
You can. It's expanded quite a bit. Northeast is still predominantly the heavy recruiting area. It's really kind of where the sport, has grown from the youth area.
Mm-hmm.
We do struggle a bit in the South. Soccer seasons overlap with lacrosse in the South. Up north, soccer's all in the fall, kind of like it is in college. So that makes it a bit more difficult. But, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, even Texas, and out in California, has really started expanding lacrosse-wise and really kind of become a little bit of hotbed areas. So we have a few girls from non-traditional areas now, and I think as we start to recruit more and kind of change our strategies, some of those areas we'll definitely start to pull from as well.
Do they contact you? Do you find them?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
A little bit of both. We have a lot of kids that reach out before recruiting tournaments, and then there's a lot, we go to tournaments, we see kids from those areas, we'll reach out to them afterwards. So we're trying to expand our recruiting efforts and, give opportunities to some of those non-traditional areas.
Yeah.
As you know now, I'm from North Carolina, which is a non-traditional area. My assistant's actually from California. So we're both kind of familiar with the non-traditional recruiting areas, and we want to give opportunities to those kids as well.
Cool.
Well, have you got any players from around here on the team this year?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't have any from in-state. I would say probably our closest kids, we have a couple from Tennessee, a couple from Georgia, and a couple from Kentucky are probably our closest kids currently on the roster.
Okay. All right, because I knew that James Clemens, I don't know that they've got an official school team. I don't think they do. It's more like a club.
Yeah, all of the
here.
lacrosse in the state currently is all kind of club paced. None of it's sanctioned by the state just yet. I think as it grows within the youth programs up through the high school, it'll transition, but we're not quite there yet. So.
Wow, they've got esports, but not lacrosse.
Exactly. We got
crazy how things work out.
Bass
right?
fishing and bowling, but not
yeah.
I know, right? But of course, bass fishing, something everybody does here.
Yeah,
most folks do.
I don't know anything about that.
Is it called a pitch? Is that what it's called when you're out there? Or field?
Game field.
Yeah, game field. Okay.
Because pitch is more soccer.
Soccer's pitch, Quidditch. That old chestnut from.
They might fling balls around on a
fling
pitch,
balls on the
sure.
yeah. Well, with the Quidditch, you've got the beaters and the those things. Coach, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate your
you so much for having
time
me.
and best of luck this season. And if anybody wants to come, are there tickets?
I think our tickets are being covered by one of the banks in the area this year.
Okay.
But we do have 4 home games, so we'd love to get a big crowd out there.
That would be great.
Yep.
Look at that, uah.edu, and go through the thing. You'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach Kasper.
Thank you so much.
You are listening to Applebee's Tailgate Talk on WKAC, the Big 1080.
This is Bella LaFontaine with Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We take care of all the basics. We take care of cockroaches, ants, wasps. As far as rodents go, most places they'll trap or poison, and that's the end of it. What we do is we're actually going to find the entry points, and we're going to take care of that for you. We do a lot of work with a lot of realtors here in town to bring houses to the closing table. So one of the big things about us is that we're not a sales company. We are a service provider. So we're not looking to meet a sales quota. We're looking to get a house ready to go to closing and get our customers taken care of. This is Bella LaFontaine, Crown Service Termite and Pest Control. We are located at 3413 6th Avenue in Huntsville, Alabama. Phone number is 256-701-7095.
Need custom screen printing or other promotional products? Got You Covered Screen Printing and More in Athens is, well, got you covered. Screen printing, promotional items, stickers, graphic design, vinyl for signs and garments, and other customized products. They also offer local pickup and delivery services, rush orders, volume discounts, and can customize any project to meet your needs. Got You Covered guarantees to get the job done and will work hard to make sure you're completely satisfied. Call today, 444-4500, or stop by and see them at 389 West Sandifer Road in Athens. Got You Covered Screen Printing and more. Come see all your friends at Applebee's in Athens. 12 minutes guaranteed or it's free Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 7 items to choose from. Can't make it for lunch? Visit them for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. or late night. Half-price appetizers with beverage purchase, 6 appetizers to choose from. Call 233-4430 or order online at Applebee's.com and pick your meal up with Carside to go. Applebee's Neighborhood Grill, Highway 72 in Athens, just off I-65. Eating good in the neighborhood. Be listening for Limestone County area high school baseball action this season from Play Action Sports. Your coverage of ABS, Ardmore, Athens, Clements, East Limestone, Elkmont, James Clemens, Lindsay Lane, Tanner, and West Limestone online at pasnetwork.net on your Amazon Echo device or on your Play Action Sports app. Afterwards, you can download each game from the archives or stream it on demand. While you're there, check out our schedule of upcoming games. Limestone County area high school baseball from Play Action Sports. You've been listening to the best of Tailgate Talk. You can hear the archive of this and other shows online at tailgatetalk.net. Join us next Saturday at 10 a.m. Applebee's Tailgate Talk is a production of Play Action Sports on 1080 WKAC.